it really does seem to be the talking point that the Republicans are pushing. Here's Kellyanne Conway. Remember, her boss is Donald Trump. We beat him up. It's okay to beat him up. If you get sued, I will pay for your lawsuit. I mean, we all remember Donald Trump, right? Kellyanne Conway is really upset about the lack of civility.
It didn't win, and that was Hillary Clinton. And many people are saying, let's be civil, let's get along, let's unify. But Hillary Clinton, she's agreeing with the Maxine Waters of the world, it appears. Listen to this next soundbite. She's saying civility is not an option.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
Well, what does that mean exactly?
Pause it for 1 second. I'll tell you what it means. It's a delusion. It's the same delusion that Barack Obama had. Once we win, they'll learn their lesson. Or once they win, the fever will break.
What it means
had
is
it both ways. There was no way the fever wasn't going to break. But as far as Clinton's concerned, if we win back the House, according to her, then the Republicans will be civil. That's a joke, of course. But let's hear how the Fox and Friends folks and Conway interpret this.
Well, what does that mean exactly, Kellyanne?
Look, usually when she opens her mouth respectfully, she offends at least one half of the country, and she did it again. But I think her discourse now is a little bit dangerous. I don't like the implications there. It's one thing to call us deplorable, irredeemable, laugh at people who don't have all the privileges.
The other night, I mean, not that I'm terribly sensitive about this, but I think Donald Trump called the Democrats evil.
Yeah, but with love.
Laugh at people who don't have all the privileges that she has had with her Ivy League law degree and through her marriage to a much more popular man who actually was a two-term president that she'll never be. I don't like that kind of talk, and I avoid it. My boss has called for civility. He's said that he represents all Americans. We don't run around asking people what their party affiliation is when he's cutting their taxes and allowing their small businesses to be free of regulations and growth. We're impervious to that.
What? But this is the line that they're pushing out because they're desperate. There's a little bit of desperation here.
Well, one part of that was true. Much more popular. Boom.
That was a really good burn, I gotta say.
That was
just
very,
like
very bitchy.
she's such a good mean girl.
Yeah.
They are,
I like the every time she opens her mouth, respectfully.
right.
But
they're moving into the aggrievement posture now because there's, which I think is encouraging, at least in terms of what they're prepared to run on. Right now, like I said, I think I headlined this was Tammy Baldwin introduced a discharge petition, which basically is going to force the Senate on voting on a bill that would overturn the Trump administration's expansion of so-called junk insurance plans. These are plans that under the Affordable Care Act could exist for 2 or 3 months at a time. And you could sign up for these one time if you were transitioning between plans. They are regulated by the states, and so therefore they don't have the federal minimum standards for what health insurance can be. Trump expanded these to where you could have them for a year at a time, and you could renew, I think, up to 3 years. So Baldwin filed a discharge petition, which basically does an end round around. It's a parliamentary procedure which forces a vote. They will take the vote. It will focus on vulnerable Republicans who will either vote to support plans that allow for denial of coverage under pre-existing conditions, that don't cover all sorts of healthcare issues, or they'll vote against it and they'll force Donald Trump to veto the bill, or they'll get rid of it. This is, this has been, I think, not a coincidence that as soon as the Kavanaugh thing passes, they are going to pivot to health care, the Democrats. And in the meantime, what the Republicans will do is say that these Democrats are super mean.
Yeah, like that Hillary Clinton clip just now was kind of the epitome of the fact that no matter what the Democrats do, the Republicans are going to act like they're crazy leftist pitchfork carrying mob. So like, might as well give them that, you know?
Trump's op-ed claims that the Democratic proposal of Medicare for all would eliminate Medicare as we know it. So in other words, Medicare for all will make Medicare not for seniors anymore.
Then it becomes Venezuela.
Right. I mean, this is the type of, I mean, it's
That's how it
absurd,
works.
but that's the way it works.